way that we're playing, the way guys are coexisting together, there's a difference from last year. And we had a really good team last year.
Yeah.
But I love where we're at this year compared to last season.
Who do you think's the best player in the NBA right now?
Myself.
Have you always had that kind of confidence? Because I asked you that question a year ago and you said it was Giannis. So what's given you that confidence?
I got a lot of respect for a lot of guys in the league.
Yeah.
Giannis for sure. Jokic, obviously, just won. Embiid, guys that won MVPs. And the list goes on. The league is in a great place. I truly do believe every night I step on the floor, I'm the best player.
What's up, everybody on YouTube? AJ Russ back to discuss another video. And by the title of this video, you can tell we're going to be talking about why the Boston Celtics must win the NBA title this 2023-24 season. All right, guys, so as you all know, you can see that Jason Tatum is in this thumbnail, and rightfully so, of course, because of the interview that he had, not only saying that he believes that he's the best player in the league, but just in terms of the Boston Celtics, I mean, they've been dominating teams this season. The addition of players like Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, of course, Jason Tatum being there, and Jaylen Brown, that 1-2 duo, players like Derek White, who are integral role players, Joe Mazzulla continuing to improve as a head coach, and really just the team being on one accord is why I do believe that this is the Celtics' best chance. And if they don't win this year, we're gonna have a lot of questions. With teams like the Milwaukee Bucks, who picked up a good win against the Timberwolves, are still struggling with the new addition of Doc Rivers as their head coach. It really just fluctuates with the Bucks, so really I don't trust them at all. And I've been saying before the season anyways, I do believe that the Celtics should win the title this year, but what should happen doesn't always transpire. But before I further into this video, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications. Make sure you hit the like button on this video. You know we post about here sports, lifestyle, and pop culture, NBA, NFL, Marvel, DC, shorts, cooking videos, things of that nature. So with that being said, let's talk about these Boston Celtics. So guys, really, there's pressure. That's what it is. There's no other way to dodge it or get away from it or run away from it. It's this season for the Boston Celtics. When you add a player like a Drew Holiday, who's arguably, if not the best defensive guard in the league, whose presence is severely missed with the Milwaukee Bucks, as you can tell with their defensive problems, you automatically improve into one of the upper echelon teams. And they made the 2022 NBA Finals, so they were already close. Last year, they lost in 7 games to the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. But in this Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown era, they have been to the conference finals together 4 times. Of course, in 2018 when Tatum was a rookie, then in the bubble in 2020, 2022 when they made the finals, and then last year. So this team, they're experienced. They know how to make deep postseason runs, but now it's about getting over that hump and finally hoisting the Larry O'Brien trophy. The case in point of this video is to talk about why collectively the Celtics should win this year. Honestly, in my opinion, last year in the 2023 NBA Finals, they would have posed a bigger threat to the Denver Nuggets. They had more size, pause. But I mean, you saw with the Miami Heat playing against the Denver Nuggets, they were just outclassed. They won that one game, but I mean, we all knew what time it was. Jokic was getting his first ring, and Tatum has the opportunity to do the same thing, get his first ring in these 2024 NBA Finals. But it's definitely going to take a lot. And you have teams in the Eastern Conference who are really emerging. They are some steps behind for sure of the Celtics because the Celtics have a dominant record. After recording this video, they are 44-12. They are playing against the Knicks tonight, so probably going to put like a lower third saying the result of the matchup, but they're still going to be the first seed after this video regardless. There's definitely a huge gap between them and anyone else in the Eastern Conference, but you have teams in the playoffs who could give them problems. The biggest threat in my mind over the Bucks, over the Cavs, and teams like that are the Knicks. Not only because of Jalen Brunson, what he has done, and yes, I do believe he is a superstar guard in this league. He has been playing lights out this year. But also the additions of players like OG Anunoby, Bogdanovic, some depth there. He's really good too, very underrated. Alec Burks, a solid role player. Then also you have Julius Randle, who won't have as much of a load that he has had in previous years and postseasons. So that'll help them, I believe. And it'll be an intriguing fit. But for the Celtics, they just really lock in and play to their game. And if Jason Tatum steps up and rises to the occasion and doesn't have a 2022 type of NBA Finals, I think the Celtics, they'll be fine. But that's a lot of caveats and ifs, but I can foresee that happening. And everyone wants to talk about Jason Tatum's NBA Finals stats. They were pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. Worse than I thought, actually, thinking about it now, because it's almost been 2 years. But you look at him in the regular season of that year, he averaged basically 27 points per game, similarly to what he is this season, shooting 45% from the field, 35% from 3, averaging 8 rebounds and 4 assists per game, which isn't too different from this year. Basically averaging, like I said, 27 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, and almost 5 assists. But then you look at the 2022 NBA Finals, there's definitely a drop off. He only averaged 21.5 points per game, which is a respectable amount, but a player of his caliber, you expect in the finals almost 30 plus, and he's already averaging 27 in the regular season. But then to have a drop off like that, the efficiency took a hit as well because he shot 36% from the field. Now 3-point wise, he shot 45%, so that was a positive sign, but 36%, yeah, that was nasty work for sure. But he has a chance to redeem himself, and the Boston Celtics do collectively as a whole. So they have the opportunity to be great. I mean, they are great. They've only lost 12 games after recording this video. I mean, they're dominating teams. I believe a couple weeks ago, they beat the Brooklyn Nets by 50, and as a result, they ended up firing Jacque Vaughn as their head coach. So I mean, they're doing a lot of great work. They're a pretty fun basketball team to watch. And And there is, I would say, and admit, something different about this Celtics team. But we'll see in April, we'll see in May, and potentially in June what can transpire. But they do have a dangerous team, but they have to win. I mean, it's now or never. Now, you can bring back a lot of this team, I would say, for the most part in 2025, but nothing is guaranteed in this Eastern Conference. You'll have another year of Giannis and Dame together, potentially more continuity. They'll have some opportunity to retool their team. The Knicks, who knows what they'll try to do, because they're making some steps upward. And nothing's guaranteed. I mean, we don't know what'll happen in the free agent market as well in 2024 after this season. So the Celtics, they have to lock in and get it right this year, in my opinion. I mean, the supporting cast is great. Your second option, Jaylen Brown, is averaging 22 points per game and 5 rebounds and basically 4 assists, shooting 49% from the field and almost 35% from 3. He's hooping. We know how great of a player he is, a perennial all-star. Kristaps Porzingis, in my opinion, has been one of the biggest additions to any team this year, contributing heavily to the Celtics. He's been playing great, and he's been way more healthier than he has in previous seasons. Now last year in Washington, he was pretty healthy, but no one paid attention to the Wizards because, come on now, let's be real. But this year he's averaging 20 points per game, essentially 7 rebounds and nearly 2 blocks, shooting 53.9% from the field and 44% from 3. I mean, Porzingis, he's putting in work. I mean, he's been a huge addition. And I talked about Drew Holiday earlier. Of course, his stats were going to take a hit joining this Celtics team with ball-dominant players like a Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Porzingis. But what he does isn't always tracked on the stat sheet. He's able to bludgeon guards and really lock them down and make life miserable. And offensively, he can have some good nights as well. Now, this season, he's only averaging 13 points per game, 6 rebounds and 5 assists. But like I said, he is efficient, shooting 47% from the field and 44% from 3. So that's what I'm saying. This Celtics team, they can shoot for sure. I mean, they have a lot of viable options. And like I talked about a little bit earlier, Derek White, he's huge for this team. We saw him coming at deadline in 2022, what he contributed to the Celtics, and he's still doing that 2 seasons later. He's averaging almost 16 points per game, 4 rebounds and 5 assists, shooting 53% from the field and a little less than these other players, shooting 37% from 3, but that's still above league average, I believe. So they have options, man. Like, what am I copping? They have options. They have a squad. Talking about those Western Conference teams a little bit, I think that the biggest threat to the Celtics in the finals, it would be the Clippers potentially, but I just don't trust James Harden. But he's not the number 1 or even number 2 option on the team. So you have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Those are reinforcements for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, most definitely. I mean, as a duo, in my respectful opinion, I would take PG and Kawhi over Tatum and Brown, but I digress on that. But that team, the Clippers, how they've been playing this year, they started off slow. I'm not gonna lie, they've been playing great. Their depth is apparent. Norman Powell coming off the bench, Russell Westbrook coming off the bench. I mean, they just have a squad. Zubac, I believe that he's always been underrated. So they have a team. They would pose problems for the Celtics, but I still would probably lean towards the Celtics just because of the unknown with Harden and what he can impact on the team in terms of the postseason. The Nuggets, you can never count them down with Jokic. They don't have as much depth as they did last year, but they still are a dangerous team. And for teams like I talked about, the Timberwolves and the Thunder, we'll just see what happens in the playoffs because I don't know about them yet, because we haven't seen them there. But I do think that the Clippers and Nuggets would be the biggest threats to the Celtics, but Celtics still, in my eyes, should beat them. So yeah, guys, let me know in the comments down below, do you think that the pressure is all in on Jason Tatum and the Celtics as a whole to win this year? I believe so, because look how dominant of a team they are. But that's my opinion. Y'all let me know in the comments down below. Talk to me, let's chat. We can debate too, respectively, of course, but I believe the Celtics, they have to win this year. I appreciate you guys watching always. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SwaggyRuss, and also on TikTok at SwaggyRuss02 for cooking videos, shorts, content, things of that nature. You know, more videos on the way, guys, specifically basketball related and pop culture related. Of course, in this time, not a lot of NFL news, but when free agency and draft stuff comes, I'll have some stuff on that. But it's NBA season, my favorite sport, basketball. So yeah, guys, but I hope y'all are doing well. Be blessed. Y'all have a good one. Know that you can do all things. I'll take it easy.